Like this place, our next chef and his restaurant are a Melbourne institution. Ian Curley from the European cooks us his favourite John Dory dish. And just like him, it's bold and honest.
I became a chef in pretty much when I was in Coventry in England, where I was growing up. Seemed like a good idea to give me a job to travel and to basically to eat, which I thought was really good. I actually really enjoyed my first year here. I met some really nice people, some really pretty girls, and I thought, well, why not? It sounds like a great place to stay, and I really enjoyed the quality of life. One of my favourite dishes on the menu at the moment is John Dory Sicilian style, and we roast it in the pan, if you like. Now, everybody knows how to identify good fish. If you've got a nice bright eyes, that's a really good sign. A good sheen on the fish, and also it should smell pretty much like mineral water. It shouldn't have a fishy smell. And also, you'll know John Dory by the spots on the carcass, like so. And they say that comes from St. Peter being in the boat with Jesus. Jesus has picked it up with the thumbprint and the fingerprint like so, and it's gone all the way through history like that. In fact, the French call John Dory Saint-Pierre, so they say that's where it comes from. I wasn't there, so I don't know, but I think it's a good story anyway. So, to fillet, I go down either side, underneath, and everybody has their own filleting methods, but what I do is like so. I loosen it this side first, and especially with John Dory, like that, around the outside, and I just move the fish away from the bone. Obviously, nice sharp knife. Now, you don't have to do this at home yourself. If you want to, you can keep the bones for fish stock. I would get your fishmonger to do this. It's a lot easier, and it might save you your own fingers. And that's that. And for our dory dish, so we're going to use 2 fingers of the dory. The spots cook out when you're cooking, so when you put it in the pan, the spots will disappear, but it's a good way of making sure that you're actually getting what you pay for. Because John Dory is a premium fish, and his is quite expensive. And you don't get it confused with mirror dory or silver dory. With our fish, a little bit of salt and pepper. Give it a good seasoning. When the butter hits the pan with the citrus later, it will take away a lot of the salt and pepper, but you want to season it really early. So, get your pan hot, fair amount of oil. With the John Dory, skin side down. I'm going to put in my braised whitlock, or you may know it over here as chicory, but whitlock, or Belgian endive if you're European. That goes in the pan like so. And what we like to do is sprinkle some citrus. The outside husk that a lot of people just throw away, but we shred it, blanch it in a bit of cold water to take away the bitterness, and it gives the fish a beautiful citrusy taste in the pan. So like so, just before we turn the fish over, drop in some nice unsalted butter. And when you eat the dish with the grapes and the pine nuts, you'll have a beautiful texture on the fish. So, we turn the fish over. When you see it's nice and golden brown. So, onto your tray. And just drain everything off.
Don't go anywhere. Coming up next are chef's finishing touches on this dish.
Favourite ingredient? I guess I should say something profound like passion, but I think what I'd say, I'd probably have to be salt. I think that salt draws out so much flavour. I think you can't really have a dish without salt. So now the all-important plate up. So first thing I do is I put the cauliflower puree on the plate, and then the onion and confit fennel. To finish it off, for the warm stuff, I want to put on the cauliflower florets They're not hot, as you can see. They're just sitting there nice and warm, because I think that the warm cauliflower tastes a whole lot better than the really hot cauliflower. I'm going to put my whitloff, along with a bit of the citrus that we cooked the fish with. And I want to sprinkle around the outside the pine nuts and some dehydrated grapes, which are just green grapes that have been just put in a dehydrator, or you can leave them about in a really low oven overnight, and they dry out, and so you draw out all the moisture and you get this beautiful, intense grape flavour. Sprinkle them on the plate like so. Some capers. And then we put the dory on the plate. Like that. And I'm going to add around the outside a little bit of turmeric oil or a curry oil. And it gives it a beautiful yellowy sheen. And then I like to use, me personally, I like to use herbs or a cress or one particular type. I don't really like the micro cress thing, but I like to use a piece of herb or a cress that you can actually see what it is on the plate. So watercress for this. And then to actually finish the dish, I'm going to grate over a little bit of bataga, which is it's a very predominant in Italian cooking, bataga, which is the smoked mullet roe. It's actually made in Queensland, so a really, really good product. And that's our roasted John Dory Sicilian style. What makes a good cook is, I think a lot of it's common sense. It is hard work. There's a lot of late nights and there is a lot of back-to-back shifts where you are tired and it can be an aggressive environment. If I see people who are a little bit left of centre or haven't exactly had the best upbringing, then I think that they make for better cooks. They tend to work harder, they've got something to prove, a bit like myself.